Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 17th of December, Sunday, so I hope you have a wonderful day and a great weekend. Now it's 9:30 in the morning, Moscow time. I'm Gaza and this is my first update for a day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages for this moment. During the day I will try to upload at least one additional update, shorter version. And also today, 7 o'clock in the evening, Moscow time, I will have a traditional Sunday stream. Although today's stream gonna be last one, I guess, because previous streams did not gain much attention from our community. And if there is no demand for this type of program, I mean Sunday live stream, then there is no point for me to continue doing this. So probably, most likely, today's live stream gonna be last one. Today's Sunday live stream. I may continue work on format of interviews, but when it comes to Sunday live streams, probably I'm gonna stop doing this because when you have like 50-70 people on the live stream from 19,000. Which is our community, a little over 90,000, then it definitely indicates that this segment is not popular and there is no point to continue. That's been said, let me also mention that I do have a channel on Rumble. It has similar name, Levan Opinion. You can see link under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. And if 2023 I was concentrated mainly on YouTube, which was a big mistake on my part. In 2024 I'm gonna shift my attention towards Rumble, towards Telegram, maybe some other platforms, and distance myself and project from YouTube, because on YouTube we don't have a future. It's just too clear that on YouTube we don't have a future. And for example, I give you information about last 2 weeks. Maybe many of you did notice that I stopped commenting on other channels and mentioning that I also have a channel. I was trying to promote, reach wider audience this way by commenting on other channels and without sharing links or stuff like that. No, I was just mentioning that, I also have a channel and I will talk about this topic or that topic on the channel. Majority of you, I guess, did find out about my channel exactly from my comments. Last 2 weeks, I stopped doing this. And our community stopped its growth on YouTube. For 2 weeks, we did not manage to reach 19,700, which definitely indicates that channel is under heavy shadow ban and my videos are not being recommended to people by algorithm, to people that may have interest in news in general and in news from Russia specifically, or Russian point of view. And when the algorithm is not recommending your channel to nobody, then there is not even slight chance that you will, continue grow. It's not happening. And statistics confirm this. So therefore, I have to shift attention towards other platforms, and Rumble gonna be number one, I guess, together with Telegram, because on Rumble, my channel, after all, is monetized, and on YouTube, not, and will never be. And therefore, I mean, if you will subscribe to my channel on Rumble, and if you will watch my videos on Rumble, you will support channel also financially, because I guess one view can bring like maybe cent. And if I have thousands and thousands of views, eventually Rumble may become somewhat serious source of income for our project. For now, I will share with you this. For example, I can show you, man. I can show you statistics. Since I create channel on Rumble, because views are far too low, view numbers are far too low. Since I create channel, I only my channel generated only $84 basically, and I just once withdraw $50. You cannot withdraw less than that, so I did withdraw $50, and at this point, since that moment when I withdraw $50, channel did generate just $17. But yet again, this is because the view numbers are too low. You can clearly see here, like 300 views, 200 views, rarely 400 or 500 views. But if view numbers will reach several thousand on each video, then who knows, maybe my channel on Rumble will generate during the month $100-150, which is I mean, better than nothing, isn't it? At least better than nothing. And on YouTube, my channel will generate nothing at all. So, and to continue work, dear friends, I spent so much time on this project. I mean, to continue work, of course, I need to have some income. I mean, I'm not millionaire or something like that. I work for a living. So if you can, please subscribe on Rumble and watch my videos on Rumble, because as I said, YouTube is a crap platform, and sometimes I even want my channel to be blocked on YouTube so that I would not spend any more time on that crap platform. And anyway, that's been said, let's talk about news now. Sorry for a long intro, but today is Sunday, so we can have informal chat, isn't it? Informal talks. And well, when it comes to situation on the line of contact, according to Russian media outlets, there was no significant changes on any of the sector of the front line. Initiative is in Russian hands all along the line of contact. Still two major hotspots at this point. One is Avdiivka and other is Bakhmut. Both are Donetsk sectors of the front line, usually most active sector if we compare it to other directions. And well, when it comes to Avdiivka, Russian forces are improving their positions on daily basis. Forward units of Russian army are in residential areas already and conducting operations to establish control over these residential areas. And also forward units are beginning their operations on the northern part of Avdiivka. I guess this week we will see Russian assault on Berdichi settlement, and Stepova and Berdichi will become under Russian control. Also, I expect operations to begin inside the chemical plant. And most importantly, I expect this week to see big Ukrainian units lay down arms and surrender on a scale of battalions. Battle for Avdiivka not gonna last as long as the battle for Bakhmut did last. I expect Avdiivka to become under full or at least partial Russian control before end of this month. And one of the reasons why I think this is exactly the situation in Bakhmut. Situation when it comes to reinforcement, when it comes to morale, when it comes to battle readiness of Avdiivka garrison, and most importantly, knowledge among Ukrainian soldiers in Avdiivka that you know, if they will continue fight with them, will happen exactly what happened to Ukrainian units in Bakhmut. And therefore they have quite a good incentive to lay down arms, contact Russian side, lay down arms and surrender. And it will happen. I'm no military expert, and my understanding of situation may be wrong, 100%, but that's how I see situation. I expect big Ukrainian units to surrender in Avdiivka area. And when it comes to Bakhmut, Russian forces are conducting local-scale offensive operations and basically preparing ground for upcoming offensive in direction of Konstantinovka, Chisov Yar, which will happen this winter 100%. Rest of the sectors, it's daily routine, artillery duels between the sides, local level skirmishes, nothing in the scale that can influence overall situation in immediate future. And if you are interested in more detailed analysis of these local scale skirmishes, then of course I recommend military channels that are specialized exactly on this detailed analysis of changes on the battlefield, and among them, of course, military summary channel. You can see links on this video in description box or in description box of those military channels. Well, that's been said. Before I continue, of course, I want to thank all of you for your time, attention, likes, comments. And of course, special thank to members of our community who supports my work with donations. Without your attention and support, this project would not exist at all, and I wouldn't have this unique opportunity to work as a citizen journalist. So thank you very much. Let's continue with additional news now, and RT is reporting on statements that was made by deputy of Russian permanent representative in UN about possible future negotiations between Moscow and Kiev. And let's read several sentences here. Ukrainian leaders have blown their chance to find favorable exit from the country's conflict with Moscow. So any agreement to end the fighting will be inferior to the deal from which President Vladimir Zelensky walked away in March 2022. A top Russian diplomat has claimed Zelensky's Ukraine has squandered its chances for such a favorable off-ramp. Russia's deputy UN ambassador Dmitry Polyansky said on Saturday in an X or former Twitter post, any possible deal now will be reflecting its capitulation, which is absolutely correct. And I said myself many times that any negotiations between Moscow and Kiev, between Moscow and major Western capitals will be around Russian ultimatum and will be on the terms of Russia. It's just too obvious, and well, top Russian diplomat basically said exactly the same. RIA Novosti is reporting that, according to Ukrainian media, early hours this morning, explosions were heard in Kirovograd and Odessa. Russian side conducted another wave of drone and missile strikes on logistical and military infrastructure of Kiev regime. And well, one of the directions was exactly these two cities and surrounding areas, Kirovograd and Odessa. And I guess during the day, Russian Defense Ministry will share with us additional information about these strikes and what exactly was targeted. Probably munition depots or warehouses where Ukrainian side was hiding military equipment, maybe points of concentration of manpower of Ukrainian armed forces. But yet again, let's see what Russian Defense Ministry will share with us. And when it comes to Russian strikes on logistical and military infrastructure of Kiev regime, many of you probably did heard this information, but I will share with you also that according to some unconfirmed reports, 28 high-ranking officers of the Ukrainian armed forces and 12 NATO officers were eliminated in Starokonstantinov airfield. This is the airfield itself, where, according to some reports, Kiev regime is hiding Su-24 frontline bombers that are used to launch British Storm Shadow and French Scalp cruise missiles. And this strike did take place on December 14th. So, well, Quite interesting, isn't it? This is not the first time and not the last time, I guess, when we are hearing information that some NATO officers, high-ranking NATO officers, may get killed during the Russian strikes. And, well, I wonder how many military personnel NATO already lost in Ukraine. Score, I mean, dozens and dozens, I guess, at this point. Once this conflict will end, probably we will learn. And I would not be surprised if even hundreds and hundreds of NATO military personnel was killed during the action in Ukraine. But anyway, let's continue. RT is reporting that according to Welt media outlet, this is German daily newspaper, and well, according to them, Ukraine is planning new counteroffensive in 2024, which is, I mean, well, I don't know, maybe Welt, this media outlet, decided to change its orientation and become like a comedy magazine or comedy newspaper. Possibly, I don't know, because you cannot take this seriously, man. You cannot take this type of articles seriously, and this media outlet seriously also. But anyway, let's read. Welt is a big name in Germany, as I understand. Ukraine could be gathering forces to launch a fresh counteroffensive in 2024 after its first push, which started this summer, failed to break Russian defense lines. Welt reported on Friday, citing German experts. Well, okay, there is no need to read anymore. This is laughable, man. This is laughable. Kiev regime has no chances to conduct any more or less large-scale offensive operations. That's it. Maybe Western so-called experts and Western magazines are or media outlets are struggling to, you know, struggling to free themselves from their own propaganda, from their own previous propaganda, when they were almost openly claimed that Ukraine gonna defeat Russia on the battlefield. And they are continuing this crazy narrative, to push this crazy narrative that Kiev regime still has some chances and will do this and do that. I mean, come on, man. Even in Ukraine, no one believes anymore in that crap. RIA Novosti is reporting that Mayor of Kiev, Vitali Klitschko, once again demonstrated his disagreement with Zelensky, and this time by not attending some event on which Zelensky was participating. And Zelensky get upset so much so that he made a statement that Kiev, capital of Ukraine, needs some mayor, if it does not have one. Klitschko is at least formally mayor of Kiev, but seems like Zelensky no longer see him as a mayor of capital. Interesting development since this confrontation between the different camps in Ukraine, especially Zelensky and Zaluzhny, did become an open secret. Well, more and more people, more and more public figures in Ukraine are now beginning to play this game of positioning themselves in one camp or another. And Klitschko already positioned himself in the camp of Zaluzhny, or as a supporter of that camp. And he is, I guess, emboldened enough to demonstratively now act against Zelensky. Let's see how it will end for Klitschko, but if Zaluzhny will support him, if Zaluzhny's camp will support him, then, well, I guess he's untouchable at this point, maybe. When it comes to Zelensky himself, his time is numbered in office. I mean, 3-5 months max, and he's gone. For sure. Let's see, I mean, just mark my words. Maximum 3 to 5 months, and Zelensky will be gone. One way or another, but he will no longer be in presidential office. RIA Novosti is reporting that 6 Ukrainian border guards lay down arms and surrender to Russian colleagues, let's say, on Kursk direction. Well, they made the right decision. They made the right decision not to fight and die for Kiev regime, for Zelensky and his criminal associates, or Western agenda, or agenda of Western ruling class. And well, these instances are increasing on daily basis when Ukrainian soldiers are laying down arms and surrendering, which is good sign. Which is good sign. Maybe after all, information is beginning to spread among Ukrainian soldiers about what's going on, and maybe they are realizing now little better that they have been sacrificed for geopolitical agenda of Western ruling class. And I don't think once this realization will come to them, I don't think many of Ukrainian soldiers will be happy to continue fight and sacrifice himself for Western geopolitical interests. And well, I did share on my Telegram this video this morning, where you can see 2 Russian soldiers approaching digout of Ukrainian unit, and instead of throwing hand grenades in that digout and eliminating them straight away, they conducted some negotiations and basically persuade Ukrainian soldiers to lay down arms and surrender, and that's what they did. And these 2 Russian soldiers eventually captured 5 Ukrainian soldiers as POWs. And those soldiers, those Ukrainian soldiers, definitely did made right decision not to die for Kiev regime, because they could die, man. They basically saved their lives, because you clearly can see that Russian soldiers could throw hand grenades in that digout, and that was it. But they also made right decision. They give Ukrainian soldiers a chance to save their lives, and they did make the right decision. And this type of instances increasing. More and more Ukrainian soldiers are surrendering, according to Russian Defense Ministry. And this is reported on Russian media also. Just in last week, more than 80 Ukrainian soldiers surrendered, which is I mean, may not be too low number, but I expect this number to grow times. I expect this week hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers to surrender, especially in Avdiivka area. And I hope my reading of big picture is correct, because I don't want those Ukrainian soldiers to continue fight for Zelensky, his criminal associates, or Western geopolitical agenda and die for it. There is no reason to die for those criminals, man. If they want to serve their loved ones, their families, their society, best decision they can make is to lay down arms and surrender, because Russia is no danger for Ukrainian citizens. NATO and Western ruling class is a danger, and Kiev regime, Zelensky and his associates, they are endangering and sacrificing Ukrainian citizens and Ukrainian society. But let's continue anyway. And RIA Novosti is reporting that, well, Argentina, under leadership of new president, made decision to openly demonstrate their hostility towards Russia, and they will transfer 2 Russian helicopters that they brought previously, in previous times, to transfer those helicopters, to transport helicopters to Kiev regime, Mi-171 export variants. Of course, those helicopters that also need some maintenance will not change much on the battlefield, but well, when it comes to relationships between Buenos Aires and Moscow, this move definitely will have an influence on the relationships, and unfortunately, I guess Argentina will very soon become will be designated by Russia as a hostile state, with all the consequences. It's only a matter of time, and Argentina will be designated as a hostile state to Russia. And there will be no Russian investments in Argentina. There will be no business between Russia and Argentina at all. And I guess it will have influence on BRICS also. And let's see how Washington will support Argentina. Citizens of Argentina did make a decision to basically become a colony of Washington by supporting this clown as a president, and well, they have to pay price now. I feel sorry for them, but it's their decision. If they want to be colony of US, okay. Let's see how well it will end for society of Argentina, man. Quite unfortunate, really, quite unfortunate development. They had such a chance, man, such a huge chance to become a part of BRICS and to receive assistance, man, technological, financial, political, to reform institutions, to do the good job to bring out Argentina for economical crisis, and they blow this chance away by voting for some damn clown. Wow, unbelievable, man. What's going on, man, in this world? But anyway, let's continue. RT is reporting that according to President of France, who is less and less relevant on political map because of his wearing his steps that cannot be taken seriously. I mean, he's a laughing stock at this point. But still, he's formally the president of France, and time to time he does make some statements. And this time he said that, well, Ukraine is still very far from EU membership. Okay, true. Sometimes he may say some true stuff, but yet again, Macron is a laughing stock, and we all know without him and his statements that Ukraine will never become member of EU or NATO. And but it's sad to see that France, Fifth Republic, is for so many years now under leadership of some clowns, man, like Macron, and before him Hollande, and then Sarkozy, man. I mean, when they used to have great leaders, you know, they used to have great leaders. And I'm not talking about just de Gaulle. I'm talking about Mitterrand. I'm talking about Chirac. They were heavyweights in politics, in the world politics, not just European politics. And now they have, I don't know, man, people like Macron as the presidents. It's sad, man. Sad. TASS news agency is reporting that head of Mossad, Israel's secret service, have been sent to Qatar to conduct negotiations with Hamas on hostages, to to free more hostages, which is a good indicator. Good indicator that maybe in upcoming days there will be another, at least temporary, ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. That's a possibility. Also, we have a TASS news agency's report on information from Ministry of Health of Palestine, according to which since the escalation between Israel and Palestine, more than 19,000 Palestinian civilians were killed. More than 19,000 Palestinian civilians in a little over the months of hostilities between the sides. RT is reporting that, well, this is quite interesting. RT is reporting that attempt to frame Russia for Polish plane crash, during the which leadership of Poland was killed, based on lies. And this statement was made by Defense Ministry of Poland. And let's read some sentences here. The Polish Defense Ministry has shut down an investigation into 2010 plane crash that killed then President of Poland, Lech Kaczynski, and dozens of Polish lawmakers and officials. The ministry accused the investigators of wasting taxpayers' money to come up with lies about Russia's supposed involvement in the tragedy. Unexpected, really. Unexpected, because nowadays no one expects any adequacy from Polish leadership, political or military. But I guess, head of Polish Defense Ministry really fed up with this nonsense that some extremist forces are pushing in Poland, that Russia was somehow involved in that plane crash, when Russia has nothing to do with it, and when even audio recording have been published in open sources, according to which pilots basically of that plane was forced to land on these conditions by Defense Minister of Poland or whoever was commanding there on the board of the plane. Someone went into pilot's cabin and demanded that they will land plane in severe weather conditions. And error in piloting occurred and plane just crashed. It had nothing to do with Russia. Everyone knew about it from very beginning, but for so many years, these extremist forces in Poland were trying to somehow blame Russia on it for this. Unbelievable, man. Russophobic animals. Russophobe animals, man. That's what they are. But it seems like at least some people in Polish leadership are more or less adequate and to realizing that, world is laughing at them at this point. And they stop this so-called investigation. Yes, good for them, because I don't think anybody in Russia did care about Poland in general, and some investigations of Polish Russophobes in particular. Who cares, man? Nobody. RT is reporting that Russia's shipment via Arctic to hit a record high, which is great news for Russia. Russia is actively expanding trade via Northern Sea route, with shipments set to reach an all-time high in 2023. Deputy Prime Minister and Presidential Envoy to the Far East, Yuri Trutnev, announced on Friday. Speaking at the meeting of the Russian-China Intergovernmental Commission in Beijing, he said that the freight turnover via the country's Arctic waterway is expected to surge past 36 million tons by the end of the year, making a ninefold increase since 2015, with numerous infrastructure projects on the way. Next year's freight turnover is forecast to grow even further to upwards of 50 million tons. Well, great news for Russia, and as you probably noticed, I did said many times before that this Northern Sea route, which goes all along the northern coastline of Russia. This is the Northern Sea route, dear friends. These Northern Sea routes will become a major trade route in upcoming 10 to 15 years. I'm quite sure about it. It makes transfer of goods twice short in comparison to, if we compare it to other trade routes, major trade routes. And numbers are there to confirm my expectations, really. And I guess if next year turnover or 50 million tons, about 50 million tons of goods will be transferred through the northern sea route. Just give it 10-15 years and this number will reach, I don't know, man, 300-400 million tons more. It definitely has potential to become a major shipping way for the world. And well, let's continue. Coal is in demand more than ever, which is quite interesting if you take into account all that propaganda of the globalists that coal, oil, and gas supposed to be, you know, almost banned and stuff like that. So worldwide demand for coal is set to reach historic high this year. The International Energy Agency said in its Coal 2023 report on Friday, the body sees global demand for the fuel rising 1.4% by the end of 2023, surpassing 8.5 billion tons for the first time on record, largely due to soaring coal consumption in emerging and developing economies. For instance, in India and China, it is expected to grow by 8% and 5% respectively, largely driven by growing demand for electricity and insufficient hydropower production. Well, coal is here to stay for sure for decades to come, like oil and gas. And I guess coal consumption will decrease significantly only when nuclear power will take over the world. Well, when mostly electricity in the world will be generated by nuclear reactors. Only then, I guess, coal and oil somewhat, although oil is used in so many products that oil consumption always will be high. But when it comes to coal, yes, in 20-30 years time, if civilian nuclear energy will be will be spread worldwide, then we may probably see decrease in coal consumption. And Russia is the biggest player when it comes to building nuclear power stations worldwide. Also, RT is reporting that Russian central bank chief warns about credibility of euro. Elvira Nabiullina basically said that if bureaucrats in Europe will continue mess around Russian frozen assets, it will devastate reputation of EU and it will jeopardize euro itself as one of the major world reserve currencies, which is absolutely correct. Even European Central Bank is saying exactly the same. But Brussels bureaucrats, man, they want to steal Russian assets. They just want it. They cannot help it themselves. And that's why almost on weekly basis we are hearing some statements that, this legislation may be created, this legislation, so that they will somehow legalize this stealing of Russian assets. But yet again, it will definitely devastate reputation of EU, if EU even has any reputation, and it will devastate euro itself. That's most important at this point, because I don't think EU has any reputation, man. Who respects EU, man? And why should anybody respect EU? Those crazy bureaucrats, man. Just look at the Borrell and Ursula and Michel and the rest of them, man. How you can respect anybody like that, or any organization that is led by creatures like that, man? I mean, come on. It's not for it has a significant reason that number of Eurosceptics are on the rise in Europe, because people are not happy with this craziness. But when it comes to euro, yes, I mean, euro may already losing big time and will lose even more, for sure. Especially if EU bureaucrats will finally steal frozen Russian assets, and they will try for sure. RT is reporting that the British economic contraction worse than expected. Well, UK's economy contracted by 0.3% in October, the first time since July that GDP had shrunk on a month-by-month basis, according to data released by the Office for National Statistics on Wednesday. The drop comes after a gain of 0.2% in September. Well, UK's economy is not really doing well, and we all know about it. There's so many reports that not just UK but major economies in Europe are struggling, and all of them are on the verge of recession. All of them are on the verge of recession, and some of them are in technical recession already. So that's also, I guess, price that EU economies are paying for Russophobic actions of the leaders of those states. Russophobic, xenophobic, Nazi, racist steps of their leadership. That's it, really. They imposed 15,000 sanctions on Russia in hope that Russian economy will collapse, but in reality they damage European economy in much worse ways that they will ever manage to damage Russia. RIA Novosti is reporting that Russian central bank increased on 1% key rate from 15 to 16. This is due to, I guess, rising inflation and to little bit more stabilize Russian ruble. But same time, central bank, according to central bank, inflation in 2024 will be significantly lower than this year, and basically central bank is approaching its limit of actions let me translate this. Let me translate this. As the head of the central bank, Elvira Nabiullina, said at the press conference, the regulator does not plan to further tighten monetary policy. So, central bank is approaching its limits when it comes to tightening these monetary policies. So next year, we may see decrease in interest rates if inflation numbers will be low enough, and if ruble will, maintain stability, which gonna be good deal, because whenever central bank is increasing rates, of course, it does influence other banks also, of course, and credits are becoming more expensive, mortgage is becoming more expensive. It does significantly influence this economy, of course. And although I don't really have a chance to, afford mortgage anyway, but I'm monitoring situation when it comes to housing market, and well, I hope sometime in the future I will manage to take mortgage on a house, and if percentage point is low, then of course it makes easier to pay for a mortgage. And this is going to be last news for today's update. According to Russian Central Bank, there is no risk of recession in Russia for next year. The Russian economy is not expected to go into recession next year. The head of the central bank, Elvira Nabiullina, stated. And according to her, the country's GDP is forecast to grow by around 2.7% this year, driven by strong domestic demand. And for 2024, central bank is projecting growth of GDP of from 0.5% to 1.5%. And well, I remind you, dear friends, that Russian central bank is always very conservative when it comes to its forecast. Always. So if they are saying that Russian GDP may grow in 2024 from 0.5 to 1.5%, then in reality, economy will probably grow somewhere around 2.5% at least. That's my reading of situation. That's how conservative they are in the estimates. They always are downgrading potential growth, not to generate, it's understandable, they don't want to be mistaken. It's always easy to say, you know what, we predicted 1.5, but in reality, economy did grow 2%, so no one gonna criticize them for this. But if they share optimistic forecast, if they say, economy gonna grow 3%, and then in reality it will grow like 2%, 2.5, well, everyone gonna criticize them that, you made mistake and blah, blah, blah. So it's quite understandable that central bank is quite conservative. That's how it's supposed to be, I guess. And this is it for now. Quite short update. A kind of mix, informal talk and the news summary. For Sundays, I guess this format is okay. And well, I hope you will find this update interesting, and so please click that like button, leave some commentary or as many comments as you can, and share links to my videos or my channel, especially on Rumble. Let's concentrate on Rumble mainly because I guess project has more chances on Rumble to succeed than on YouTube. Well, if you think this project is interesting, useful, informative, and deserves to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, buy me a coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. You can see links under this video in the description box or in the pinned comment. This is it for now. I remind you, dear friends, that today, 7 o'clock evening, Moscow time, I will have a stream on main YouTube channel. Probably last Sunday stream. So if you have time, please join the live stream. But if you don't, then it's also okay. It's gonna be last stream anyway. So have a great day and take care.